Normally, I get paid to do this, but because a lot of people have been asking, because there's a lot of returning players for 6th anniversary, yeah, I figure I might as well make a video. As much as I like making money, I'm pretty allergic to money, and I'm kind of tired of building everybody their fucking accounts. So I'm just gonna build somebody an account, make a YouTube video out of it, and hopefully never have to make, like, you know, get a small amount of work. You have to give me this page. I need to be able to see your this page of the units you don't have on your account, and I also need your Fribbles file. This is the only hard requirement. If you actually want me to Fribbles your account, you have to give me your Fribbles file. Exclamation point, enter. Like, hit it now. Well, there it is. Let's see who wins then. Let's go. Okay, we got a newo. Okay, I got my Fribbles. I got my Cecilia bot. There's like an order to this, right? You put out all the units you don't have, at least the ones that matter. Your Headhunt unit, because right now it's Headhunt, and then your pre-bans. First of all, let's filter out the shit he doesn't have, right? And I'm only gonna click the ones that matter. Also, Anu, you're gonna need to tell me what playstyle you want to play. Like, what's your preferred playstyle? Doesn't his playstyle depend on his gear? But don't you also think the account depends on the playstyle, like the playstyle you want to play? Like, if somebody has the best tank down account, but they want to play cleave, and I build them a tank down account, like, didn't I just brick somebody's account and now they're gonna play like 6 games and placements, fall asleep, get bored, and then they don't even finish masters? It depends on your gear if like you just want to win, right? But if you want to play the game to play the game, it's a video game, you should have fun, right? I don't think anybody can disagree with that. I think you guys are projecting a little bit hard. Because if you just care about hitting like champion rank, it doesn't matter. You can play any style with any gear. Any account with a bit of time behind it is a champion rank account. And if you can't hit, you're coping. Actually, this doesn't matter. This doesn't matter. He wants to play standard tank down. So there's some stuff I'm not gonna even bother putting up here. Is it bad I don't know what playstyle I want to play? No, it just means you have no preference. And if you have no preference, you just play for best in slot. So like, you guys see how I'm putting the units he doesn't own up here, right? I'm already getting a pretty good understanding of how he's going to need to play this account. Okay, how inclined are you to playing villagers? I'm picking him on Headhunt. Yeah, because with your playstyle right now and all of this bullshit you're missing, the only thing you can realistically play, one unit that puts your account at very high power level, is the Ray. What are villagers? Villagers are people who play with Harseti. You have to ban Luna, and you probably have to ban somewhere between Ilanov or Polly. I think you're picking a lot of Tywin no matter what. You're picking 2 of these 3 units, so like to that effect, you probably throw this in too. You have Polly, you have Flan, you just drop villagers on 3, right? Then like, you guys are starting to see like a good flow downwards, right? You have to lock in your best units, and then ways to play those best units. So because we're basically a villager, then we have to like stick this first. It really depends on how much Harseti banners you run into. There is a world where you have to ban these 2. I think for like generic, if you're a newer, slower player, this is the best pre-ban. Right, you ban Luna, you ban Polly. It removes 2 really easy ways you would get bullied. If you don't want to ban a unit you own, then you kind of let Polly out. Polly's pretty hard to deal with. If you think about this, right, we have to think about what units we can play with our roster and what units we have to like ban. Luna stays in bans. Yeah, Luna is a high skill cap hero both ways. I wouldn't recommend playing Luna unless you really know what you're doing, and I wouldn't recommend playing against Luna unless you know really what you're doing. We're gonna have to be playing against a lot of DDR, a lot of Polly. Green Celine has to go here. Our top 4 is always going to be a mixture of these 4 characters. That means we can start throwing some of the other stuff here, like the really broken units that come to mind. Where is Inheritor Amiki, BBK? And if we play a lot of Flan, we're definitely throwing more in here too. If they take Tywin and we don't have LRK, then we need a hand guy. We're probably playing against some amount of Peyra, Conk, which means Beedom has to be in here. So you guys see how we're kind of developing this list based on what we already have, and that kind of turns into a flow. Landy, I actually think kind of goes lower right now. Landy's not doing too hot, but I do think Euphine is solid. Funnily enough, during Genuine meta, it was flipped. Like, Euphine was up here, Landy was in here. Now I think it kind of goes the other way. When we don't get Tywin, we're also gonna want some tanks, right? Albedo's not super strong right now, so I think it's fine for her to go in this spot. We have 1 tank right now. Nobody is pre-banning tanks, which is a good thing. Anil, how many 3Fs do you have? Your answer of that depends on whether or not we're gonna be able to play a 3F, 1 copy. Okay, that's fine. That means we're playing Bellion as our second tank. Like, it seems like you're missing a lot of units, so we're gonna try to make a pretty tight roster. So like you guys can see how the logic of developing an account goes. If you don't know what units are good or not, to be perfectly honest, you can hit up any tier list. You can follow any tier list and start just picking out the units like that, right? Pick out the units you want to play and pick out what units you think could work for you. Like Karina can go in there, Ravi. Another pretty important unit, no matter what we have to have built, is Monk. And if we're building Monk, then by extension, we need Lua. Or Laya. Lua could probably go lower on this account if we don't have a lot of speed. Honestly, if this is all you had, I think it's already playable. If you focus all of your resources into roughly about 16 to 20 units, and what would you got? 4, 8, 10, 15, 20 units? Perfectly playable roster, right? But like, let's flesh it out. I think Alencia is really good. Aiden is still a fine unit to take. She's not that great in 2024 because designer Lilibet's really good. It's actually fine because a lot of times I don't know, you pick like a Ray, they're gonna try to Dilibet you on 3, right? Aiden is really good versus Dilibet. Arya's fine. Genu's good, but like he's kind of a later unit now. Probably throw in a DJ and Polly. No reason not to have a Polly. Festive Ida is all right for anti-cleave. I can't see RB being picked earlier than like pick 4, so RB goes in here. Briar's still good, especially if we play BBK. Conquer Lilius is still playable. We can throw a Ravi in niche options. She's really good versus like those high debuff but low damage teams. So like now we need to think about what we can do anti-debuff. I think Destina is fine as like our, wait, we need Elena actually. So Elena's really good right now, especially if we don't want to get cleaved. If you're playing like competitively, you have to have ways to be able to easily stop cleave. Ed can be like a 4 or 5 option. So like after that, you can just kind of start slotting in units. This is essentially what the roster will look like. I think if you have like 30 good units, you're probably good to go. Like you're on your way to success already. And every single character has a job, right? And to go over them really quickly, DDR is our debuff DPS. This is going to be our prime opener, our first pick prime DPS, our main knight. If you think about it, this is a tank down standard account. Standard means like you're a standard RPG party, right? So we already have support, DPS, tank, and debuff, right? That is our standard core. And then we have like a bunch of support units on the side, right? We have the village chief, we have Laya, which is another support when we don't get Polly, Celine, Elena. Elena's our anti-cleave. This is if we get our best unit stolen, Celine beats both of them. Inheritor Amiki is if we get our best DPS stolen, she will beat Inheritor Amiki. Same with Solitaria. These debuffers are kind of here when some of our best units are taken away. Mort is just a good DPS right now. He works with our best DPS, right? So you guys will notice that every single unit we have in some way either works with or counters our main units. And that's the really important thing. We have a bad matchup in the cleave, which is where Bellion comes in, and then also Infinite Horizon Acades. If we need additional carries, we have Euphine. We play slow, so BBK is not a problem. And then we have all of these things to disrupt faster strategies. Once you have your priorities set, at least for me, this is where I start implementing everything on Fribbles Optimizer. The cool part about organizing your account through like a tier list like this, you now have a nifty little fucking draft guide. If you ever are somebody where if you're playing RTA and you get dizzy, that's not a thing anymore. All right, I know exactly what I'm doing. When I pick up Headhunts, okay, I'm pre-banning these 2 fuckers and I'm first picking 2 out of these 4 units. And then when these are in, I'm going to look to third pick this. And then if not, then it's like some mixture of these units on the left. And then I'm going to support them with these units here. And then once my enemy have their drafts out, I'm going to close out my drafts with picking 4 or 5 with these units, right? And these should cover most of my weaknesses. And then if I really want to build units and have fun, then I'm just going to throw stuff in here. Does that make sense, guys? Like, it's kind of sweaty, but honestly, if you're playing competitively, like what competitive game isn't sweaty? Like in competitive Pokemon, like you have to worry about EV training something to exactly like 52 EV for defense to survive IV Cudgel. Or if you're playing like competitive StarCraft, okay, you got to get your Void Rate timings out and then also push them out at the same time with your Colossus, right? Like that. So let's give a quick look over to his gear, right? Normally I would do this before I start building this to get a better idea of what he's going to play. But since Anil is like a community member, he's been around for a bit. I've watched his streams too. So I'm actually somewhat familiar with his gear, just a bit. But if you will ever want to figure out what your account is good for, I recommend doing it through Fribbles Optimizer. And the thing you could really easily do is figure out like like D score is your damage gear, S score is your support gear, and then C score is your bruiser gear. Now, this looks really normal, like for most people. His bruiser gear is really fucking good. His damage gear, it's all right. It's not bad. And then his S score it's good for a bit and then it falls off a cliff. If you're an average player, your gear will look like this. And then if you look at his speed, like he's probably got enough gear if you look at it for like one fast unit and then he's out of speed set gear. So that tells me you need to check more speed set gear. Try to check less on other sets. Once you have that out, right? Literally just start importing your units left to right. Your Prio probably looks like this. Can we make a 280 build? God bless. 286 is our speed cap. We have an immunity build. If we have an immunity, we might as well run immunity because we're playing a lot of Ambitious Tywin, and Ambitious Tywin is going to be, he's on protection set, so it'll at least protect us from fast Luas. Right now, I would say Potion Vial, high effectiveness Ray is where it's at. You really care about landing your debuffs. I don't have prot set gear. So this, by the way, also tells you your priority for farming gear. Like, we could just build you an A Tywin for now, but at some point, like right now is Rift buff and it's Hunt buff, right? You should be taking this time to farm out a protection set gear. Because if you think about it, if you know your playstyle is standard tank down, and you know you don't have a protection set gear, and you're not farming it out, like, then what are you doing? I'm farming it right now, good. Then you're doing it right. Your villager units are looking up, dude. I'm not gonna lie, this looking like kind of clean. But yeah, that's our Ray build. So after Ray, we can add our Tywin. We want this slower than the Ray. So our Ray is 180 or 190, right? Oh, that's fucking sauce. Triple HP set A Tywin, Mokoko baby. So when you guys do this, the goal is to filter out your stats and your builds until you get to a point where, yeah, there's like a handful of builds, right? It fits in this box and you just want to give it the old eye test. And you just look at the builds and you figure out which one's more comfortable for you. So for Anuo, because his Ray is 190, and you guys know that combo I play a lot on stream where Ray would press S2, Ambitious Tywin presses S3, there's 5 bajillion debuffs, your defense brace come in, all that good shit, right? Yada yada. So we want to ideally be 180 speed or slower, which means we're actually going for one of these builds. Whichever one of these will be fine. It doesn't even matter. And if you want to be really frugal with your builds, you just go for the lower gear score, lower build score. Now that we have what our debuffer, our support, our tank, right? It's time for our DPS. Damage, attack, speed or attack. We're doing destruction set attack. Yeah, ideally pen set, but because I don't know if his gear is good enough for pen set or not, I'm actually just gonna leave it blank. And then MCD, like we're gonna need something pretty ridiculous. So let's just throw in like 13k 600. It seems like outside of speed gear, this account's pretty solid. So I'm going to put like a pretty strict gear requirement on this account, right? We know the Ambitious Tywin is about 180 speed, which means the Flan should at lowest be 165 speed. I feel like her base EHP is like about 54k, so let's just do that. Cool, awesome, we're finding it. We're just sorting by maximum amounts of damage. We're capping C damage to 250 or 358 because any higher than that, it's overcapped and it's a waste of stats. And we know MCD goes up to 16k, so let's do like 16k 500 and then hit a full search. It's pretty clear. This is our build. So that tells me 2 things. 1, you also need to be farming for destruction set. So I hope right now your rift that's going is destruction set, protection set, probably HP set, and speed set. Like speed set is never bad, right? Like usually you want to have 2 4-piece sets and 2 2-piece sets, but on this account, I know for a fact like protection set will help you, destruction set's gonna help you, because your builds just have too much crit chance. So that's our core, right? If you look at this account, our 4 core units is now technically finished. And what that means is you should be playing these 4 units as often as possible because they have the best gear on this account by far, and it is not even close. So now that that's done, we can start doing our other stuff. Because this is gonna be kind of a villager account, we probably wanna do our own Harseti. So let's throw that in there. Abyssal Crown is our artifact. So let's hit the reset on the filters. We can take any of these defensive stats because when you're playing villager, all you care about is staying alive and maybe debuffing, right? We got boots, we have HP. Let's just use all of our stats. HP, defense with like 2 ticks of F. Honestly, throw in hit. like, I don't know, 160 effectiveness. And then we actually want like 200 plus speed. Ideally, we're 205 speed or higher. We want to tune this account really tight. When you have an account that's only like 16 to 30 units big, your speed tuning needs to be on point. You cannot have bad speed tuning. Your speed tuning needs to slap. Biggest example of that is Poo's account. Poo's account tunes super tight. He only has like 20 units. There we go. Yeah, and then you guys see how we're getting 1 result, 2 result. That's how you know you've really locked in on the best gear available for the slot. Okay, so we have 2 builds. We have a speed set build, and we have a mishmash of other whatever build. I think for the sake of efficiency, I'm just gonna click the speed set one. So now, if you look at our core account core, we should be pre-banning these 2, and somehow, between the units we have, we're always getting a mixture of these 4 units on picks 1 and 2, and then we're also getting this on pick 3. So we're gonna build Elia a little bit faster because she's gonna be our support when people ban our village chief, right? And if we play her with the villagers, she doesn't lose that much speed because your Harsetti's fast. So speed-wise, we're at least 215, 220. Speed HP, 28k. Ideally, we're like 30k pre-sweet miracle, you know? 170k, 28k, 28.7. Our highest EHPS is, honestly, this is like good enough. The defense is a bit lower, but got most of the stats we want. So Lia's done. Celine, honestly, Celine could like be 180 or even slower. 14 to 15k MCD, 99 crit. I like, Anil, do you play 99 crit? If you play 99 crit, I'll do 99. If you don't play 99, I'll put 100. This is like up to pref. Some people do 95, some people do 98, some people even do 85 because they're maniacs. All right, good enough. Actually, we could do MCDS and see what our most efficient build is. 14.9 at 200 speed. I think it's this though. I think we just go for damage, to be honest. Yeah, it's just that. So after that, Elena needs to be geared a little bit differently, right? This is where you kind of defy your own rules a bit, because when do you pick Elena? You pick Elena when you're getting cleaved. What are cleavers going to ban? Cleavers are going to ban our Harsetti, and they're probably going to ban our Zio. So Elena needs to be fast. So you need to take stuff like this in mind when you're building an account. So we're probably throwing on speed, defense HP, ER. Speed-wise, we probably want to start at 230 speed. This account's a bit slower. Normally, I would say for an Emperor tiered standard or fast account, you want to be like 250 to 255 speed. If you're slower, you're slower. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have a choice. You probably want to be close to 100k EHP, but 76k is like a good baseline. Like, we're already looking good. We go up to 270 ER. We filter this up because, oh, nice. We got a high ER one at 94k. 99k EHP, is this fine? We only have 1 build, so it's just that. So next we build our immortality DPS, right? We got Amiki, we got BBK, and then followed by 2 debuffers. It's a 3-star unit. I'm assuming you have triple S. Attack, 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 attack. Wow, it's like this unit is so simple conceptually. Her stat distribution looks so jank, man. Let's assume you have like the worst gear in A. I think 4750 is still doable. 85 ER is probably our baseline. See what we get. Okay, seems fine. I could probably drop resist set if it gets us more damage then. Yeah, 5,000 attack. Filter, okay, well, we got 1 build, boys. When you get the numbers just right, you get 1 build. Wow. After that, we got BBK, so artifact. I'm hoping you have a hostess of the banquet. It's a 4-star unit. I'm assuming you're triple S. Crit, it's not crit chance. That has to be crit damage. Maybe attack. Destruction set, attack set, maybe counter set. Like, I don't know what your gear is like. So your secondary set, crit, immunity, ER, torrent, nothing else. Max out your damage stats, do that, and then nothing matters, right? ER, we start at 85. MCD, roughly about 13,400. You don't want to be any lower than that. And then we do like 99 crit. MCD, okay, let's see. What's our highest ER? 120. So that already tells me one thing. You cannot be on Hostess. Your ER is too low for Hostess, so we have to be on Bastion of Hope. So that's our Bastion of Hope unit. I think I would rather take this, right? So if you consider this one is a little bit faster than the rest of your builds. And the reason it's better is because your villager is speed tuned to what? It's speed tuned to 200, followed by 180, 190, 180, and then 170, right? So that means your BBK will be 130-ish. And that means your Briar Witch that you play with the BBK will probably be roughly 180 to 90. So it's gonna be this. You just need to farm better DPS gear with ER on it. That's really it. Yeah, this is like, it'll work for now, but you see, now that we have this built out, right? Not only do you know how you're drafting an RTA, what priorities you're gearing your units, but on top of that, right? Very, 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 very importantly, you also know what gear you're farming next, right? Now that we're on like what, unit number 11, right, Neo? So hear me out. This is what's gonna happen. All right, you need to be able to account for matchups you're realistically going to run into, right? You're gonna first pick your flan. They're gonna pick 2 units. You pick something plus villager, right? Or they ban villager. What's gonna happen is they pick Solitaria on 3 to match your flan. And when that happens, you're gonna pick monk and you're gonna seal that Solitaria. So this is gonna be like our next unit that we have to build, right? If you're wondering about Solitaria, Solitaria works on any gear. Monk, not so much. Monk needs better gear. 269, surely we can do this. I believe in your gear. I no longer believe in your gear. Let me figure out what happened. What if I start using, oh, it's the effectiveness ring. What's our effectiveness ring looking like? 11 speed. Oh, that's the problem. So this also tells you, right? Like if we're getting stuck here, you need to be converting your effectiveness fonts that you get from your weeklies and stuff into speed set for like the next year. It's on Harsetti already, Kryga. Oh, is that the issue? Oh, there we go. Okay. Wow, it went to the Harsetti. Like that's the thing with village, right? Like you do not need the good stuff on your villagers. 274, it's just this one then. Okay, cool. Let's fix our Harsetti real quick. Yeah, Harsetti doesn't need gear that's anywhere like nearly as sweaty as Knockwall. Yeah, this will be fine. Like we're just down a set, whatever. You would ideally not have to do that, but it's not the end of the world if you have to like break your own Prio. So Solitaria, Solitaria works a little bit differently. We can make her a bit tankier instead of focusing on other things. 254, that's fine, 254, 200 F. Filter, and then we just sort by tankiest. It leaves a bit to be desired, but you know, you play with whatever gear you got and then you upgrade. Monk, Solly, Mort, Euphine. I think Euphine needs slightly better gear than Mort. This is a slower build, so we're gonna need Holy Sacrifice. So let's see, if we're playing Villager, it's defense, HP to 1 tick. Actually, that to 2 ticks, that's 1 tick. Crit chance, crit damage, speed, defense, we can do that. Let's see if we can find a lifesteal build. So my personal preference is I like lifesteal a little bit better right now. DMGD, we're building really slow. So like 99 crit, we're villager speed. So like 165, wait, actually, you're never playing this unit with villagers. It's going to be outside of villagers. So we can play like normal human speed. 2K defense, you don't have to. You can if you want, right? Like when you're building Abyssal Euphine, make sure nothing ever goes below 2000. But if you put in like 5500 DMGD and the 120k EHP, and you are forcing the ring to be a defense ring, usually speaking, it is 2000. Like you are rarely getting a build below 2000 defense. You know what I mean? So that's our Euphine. More, we could also build really slow. I'm gonna rapid fire for you guys a couple of numbers. You guys ready? If you're building a Bruiser, 120k is their baseline bulk. 140k is where you really want your bulk to be. If you're building a support, okay, like Elena, 100k is where you want their baseline bulk to be. 120k, actually 125k, like the squishy Soul Weavers, right? Your Bunny Dom, your Elena, you want them to be about 100k to 120k. And if you could go higher, obviously better. If you're building a tank, the baseline bulk is 158k. Ideally, you're gunning for 200k, but if you can hit 180k, I would consider the build very premium. When I say tank, that includes units like Laia, where they're just goddamn fucking beefcakes. And you could see all of these numbers lining up. So that's just pure experience. When you're building a DMGD unit, usually it starts at about 5,000 and high end is 6,000. DMGH unit starts at 6,000 and high end is about 8 to 9,000. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know who can actually use this information. I just wanted to flex that I knew the numbers. The whole goal of that was, I know the numbers. Bellion, HPHP, 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 prot set, HP set. And we just want like 30k, right? And like I said, 158, 000. We're fucking cooked. We're leaving this blank, bro. We're fucking leaving this blank. You got your hand guy. I would say you probably want a DPS hand guy. And the reason is, if you look at your roster, most of your units are kind of weak to Ray. This is weak to Ray. This is kind of weak to Ray. This is all right into Ray. This is 50-50 into Ray. Bad into Ray. Whatever into Ray. And this one kind of actually beats Ray, but like not really. So it's not great. Plus we don't have ML Sharoon to kind of hold us in that matchup. So you really want your hand guy to like be a DPS unit you can pick into Ray. So like it's still Warhorn. Go for like a crit chance or a crit damage neck. Bunny Dom, that's gonna be another 100k to 120k EHP unit. The important thing about Bunny Dom is you need immunity set, and then Conqueror Lilius and Zeo. Her artifact kind of doesn't matter. You just go nostalgic music box. I think this is like the best one for turtles. So it gives you a bit of bulk, and then you get some buffs that could instantly win you games. And then you get a Zeo. The Zeo doesn't really matter, especially if you can't get a Zeo that says like 258 speed or higher, is you want to purposefully pick him, hear me out, on pick 2 or pick 4. That way, they have the chance to force ban your Zeo because they're gonna be psyched out about it. I'm just gonna save and export your file. There's your save. All you have to do is import that and then finish the work that I started. Yeah, there you go, guys. That is like the full process of how to build a RTA account from scratch, especially if you're missing like 50 units. I'll probably do this again on my alt account, on the new account, before I start playing RTA for the season. But this is roughly the process you want to go through if you want to have a very competitive roster, optimizing every single resource on your account. It's honestly, if you watch a lot of RTA, even if you don't play a lot of RTA, this process should be really easy for you to replicate, right? Like I didn't do anything that required me to like be able to pull out some big brain giga strat that nobody can think of, especially considering like a lot of people here are like those, like, you know, if you're a Reddit skull, like, oh yes, well, you see, Mr. Streamer, I see you picked this unit. Well, in actuality, the matchup is, you know how, like, dudes who are, like those guys, like, yeah, like, you know, you watch enough RTA, you understand enough matchup, then you should be able to build this as well, and then, like, import that logic to your Fribbles priority and design an account, right? So, like, in reality, it's just a step-by-step thing where you're laying out logic and you're transferring it from one tool to another. And on top of that, you basically get a draft chart for yourself. Like now you have first pick, you have your second and third pick, your 4th through 5th, and you have your whole account laid out in front of you. Like if I was any worse at RTA, I would actually build this for myself and keep this on my second monitor, right? And then play with this on the second monitor, or keep this on my monitor and play on my phone. So if I get dizzy, oh shit, they have this. What the fuck do I pick on picks 4 and 5? Oh, they have double green units? I could just go Ravi and Ed, or Ravi and Genua, I guess. That's how you want to use this. That is using your account's resource to the max. Anyways, I hope that video was helpful for you guys. If you enjoyed the video and you thought it was helpful, you can always help me back by liking the video, subscribing if you want to see videos similar to this one, and if you have any questions, comments, Discord section, always open to you, and I will have the resources for the tools linked in the description down below. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day or night, wherever you guys are, and I'll see you in the next video. See ya. All right. Ooh, let's go. Okay, nailed it.